Craigie boy.
Always count on Craig.
Really good win, must be stoked.
Yes and no. Yes, largely. Again, it's a regular season game, so like we know we play these guys for all the marbles or for a much bigger prize in 2 weeks' time. So winning today is nice, but like I said to the girls, I'd rather lose today by 100 and win game 1 by a point. But to have won today on the back of a long road trip when everyone's pretty tired and pretty homesick, really pleasing to play like that.
By winning, you're pretty much locked in second spot. You're a game and 4% behind Townsville, and you're a game and 6% ahead of Bendigo. So it doesn't look like anyone's moving. How important is it for you to know now that second is yours?
Again, we're pretty sure we were going to play Bendigo first round after the Geelong result. It was just a case of in which order. But we've beaten them twice in Perth, and they obviously whooped us the first time in Victoria. So we'd like to get home court, and especially with HPC. Again, even speaking to Kennedy pre-game, this place was crazy when they played Townsville game 1 last year, and HPC has just been mad all year. So if we can get home court, we definitely wanted it.
And to do what you've done on the road, like it's a long time away from home with this stretch you've been on, how happy are you with the way that they've handled that?
Yeah, ecstatic. Speaking behind closed doors before we left, if you told us you're going to get 2 of these 3, we would have genuinely looked at it. Sydney at 9 a.m. without Hahn was going to be tough. We really rate Southside, and we thought that one would be tough. And then obviously Bendigo's been one of the form teams all year, and obviously the defending champs. So we thought it was a really tricky road trip, and obviously with the length of time on the road as well, we probably would have taken 2. So to have gotten the last 2 by so much, and to have gotten 3 by 19 plus, really, really pleasing for the girls.
Amy, can you talk about Annalie's performance from a rebounding perspective? Like when you're out there, do you realise that she's had the 22 that she's had again today?
I wouldn't say I would know she had 22, but it doesn't surprise me at all. I think that's just what Maylee does. We know she's going to go out there and give 100% effort every game and go get as many rebounds as she can, and she's just relentless on that end of the ball. So like, we probably take it for granted at times, but yeah, I mean, not surprised at all.
So you say it's just what she does. Like, so Ryan managed to sub her out again, sitting on the actual record.
Ryan.
It's 22 is the club record. She got the 22. It can be blasé to say, oh, that's just what she does, but it's bloody hard work. How does she do that?
Oh, I mean, yeah, obviously, I do say that's kind of what she does, but like I said, we've taken it for granted at times because we're just so used to her performing at that level. But like, what she does is crazy. Like, there's no one else in the league that can do that, and her will to just go and get the ball and never give up is crazy. I don't know how she does it. It's just that's just Maylee. Yeah.
And for you to hold them to 16 for the entire second half, we've seen so much development in this defensive game this year. That's the cherry on top, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. We're happy with that. I think there was still a lot of stuff we could have cleaned up in the first half, so we'll go back and look at it. But like Ryan said, it was great to have potentially locked in home final. But yeah, we play them in a couple weeks' time for a lot more.
Ryan, you've been part of a team that rolled the dice in the last game of the season when you knew you couldn't move from your position on the line. That was the 17-18 year where you were the assistant and the team went up north and got hurt and then lost in the finals. Knowing you can't move, how do you approach selection and minutes next weekend?
Yeah, it's a really tricky one, and even like in 2 minds there's some stuff today, because ultimately we knew we were a very strong chance of playing Bendigo again round 1, not knowing if it was a home court or not. So even today, like, we had some things up our sleeve that we thought would be even better than the game plan we put out today, but we kind of held that back, knowing today wasn't as important as what 2 weeks' time will be. The tricky one with next week is Bendigo go to Townsville. So Bendigo's then got to have played us and then Townsville. So I'll be cherry ripe for like finals like basketball, whereas obviously we have Sydney who aren't in finals. And if you just go and throw it and like you rest all your stars and you don't play how you normally play, like what's your form line like? So it's probably a question for the S&C team a little bit, to be honest. Again, is it rust versus rest? That debate, we want them as healthy as we can, but at the same time, we want them like playing well and playing in sync. In this road trip, they've been in a really good sync. So let's just get home and see friends and family and loved ones first, and we'll deal with that on Tuesday.
I imagine you would be torn with it though. Like, you've made a big effort this year to make sure that your entire team is fresh so many times. The last thing you would want is to have someone get an elbow to the head next weekend.
Touch wood, Craig.
Thank you,
Touch
Craig.
wood. Touch wood. Yeah, so it's a really tricky one because I do have was it Chris Connolly? No, it wasn't Chris Connolly. Who was the coach? Who was it? You'd know, Craig. Who was the Freo coach that took like a quarter of his team down to Hobart?
That was Ross Lyon.
Ross Lyon. There you go. I quite like that from Ross. That's what I like Ross Lyon. What did he take? He took players 22 through 40 odd down in Tasmania. I like the theory, but again, I don't know we have 10 DPs sitting at home ready to play next week. So something we'll deal with next week for sure.
Cool, thank you.
Cool.
Right, just pretty good effort tonight. Obviously, Ellie Wilson, he has mentioned 22 rebounds. How do you go back to Perth and focus on next week's game?
Again, first and foremost, we'll give them some time off. Again, it's been a long time stuck together. Everyone's kind of sick of each other at this point, as Amy would be more than happy to tell you. So, yeah, go home, see loved ones. And again, we'll reset. Again, it's a tricky week in terms of getting ready for Sydney, but the real part is, again, how do we clean up some stuff for Bendigo and start getting some more things in place.
And do you focus on Sydney like as of tomorrow, or do you sort of wait till later in the week and then focus on Sydney and then Bendigo the next week?
Again, I want to get my head out of this game to start with. In all honesty, I'm not sure we'd spend that much time on Sydney, or not, and that's not trying to be disrespectful, but like next week we can lose by 8,000 if we want to. It's the week after against Bendigo that matters. So we actually might spend most of the week on Bendigo. But in fairness to the girls, we've spent what feels like 22 weeks now on Bendigo and Townsville for this exact point. So I don't know how much more there is to teach them. So a fine line, but certainly we would normally spend the entire week on Sydney. We might spend 10% on Sydney and 90 on Bendigo.
You said you just spent all these weeks on Townsville and Bendigo. 2 weeks ago when you played them, it was a very peaceful game. What did you change from that to this?
Townsville or Bendigo?
Bendigo.
Yeah, I don't want to get into too many specifics. I love the question. I just don't like giving you the answer, to be honest. Yeah, we're just trying to clean up some things in our own backyard.
For Amy, so on that game 2 weeks ago, you got your wrist thing, like bleeding and stuff. Do you think this game was less physical? How do you think this game went?
Oh, no, I think every time we play a Bendigo or a Townsville, it's super physical, and yeah, I don't think it was any less physical. It was just I didn't get scratched on the wrist this game.
Thank you so much for your time, guys.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.